Yeah, we'll start over on this side. And this is a 1920, first I should tell you who I am. Bill Sleeper, I'm one of 11 pilots to fly these four tri-motors for the Experimental Aircraft Association. And here we are in Shreveport, Louisiana, getting set up for a weekend of air tours and ride hopping. So this airplane is a 1928 5 ATB, four tri-motor. It's the bigger of the two models that Ford made between 1926 and 1933. This airplane was originally named the City of Wichita, and it inaugurated coast-to-coast air service in 1929 when it was half train, half airplane. And this airplane actually started the very first westbound trip out of Columbus, Ohio, after an all-night train ride from New York.
In the heart of New York, a great railroad station, the beginning of your transcontinental rail and air journey from coast to coast. And at exactly 6:05 p.m., the Airway Limited, first and only train of its kind in the world, with a direct airline connection, pulls out with its air-minded guests. From New York to Columbus, Ohio, dinner, bedtime. Then, a few minutes later, the Airway Limited pulls into Port Columbus, where our first day's flying will begin. The big tri-motor all-metal plane is ready and waiting. Its roomy cabin is well lighted and heated in wintertime. Seated in our comfortable chairs, we are all set now to see America best. The field rushes by. Then, all is flowing smoothness.
Westbound plane calling radio ground station at Wichita.
TAT Maddox, radio ground station at Wichita, answering westbound plane.
Westbound plane reporting position. We are now passing over Granville.
Okay on your position. Are you on time? Go ahead, please.
We are flying exactly on schedule. We'll arrive Wichita on time.
Granville, Wichita. Checkpoints for the adventure of flight.
So, this airplane is powered with just regular old Pratt & Whitney 985s. They're fixed pitch propellers. They put out about 420 horse. Fuel capacity is 353 gallons, and cruising you're burning about 60 gallons an hour. And the spare speed is about 95 miles an hour. It'll go a little bit faster, but the fuel burn goes way up, so we just kind of loaf along at 95 or so. We operate this airplane at 12,499 pounds, which allows us to fly a single pilot. It's actually a 13.5 airplane, but if you operate it that gross way, you have to put a co-pilot along with it. And it's a pretty simple airplane. It doesn't really require two pilots, so that's how we operate it. What else can I tell you? Wingspan is 77 feet, 10 inches, 52 feet long. What else? We have 10 passenger seats. This airplane originally had a lavatory in it, and that's obviously been taken out, but it's just now a storage area in the back of the airplane. And you can look inside. Unfortunately, we haven't unloaded it yet with all of our ride hopping gear, but you can see the interior looks like the inside of a train. The nice wood paneling and all your light fixtures work. And if you like, we could take a walk up into the cockpit. Watch your head right here. I've banged my head many a time. Yeah, pretty simple airplane. The engine gauges that you see over here are for the center engine only. And if you look out on the right pylon, you see that these engine gauges for the right engine are actually on the pylon itself, and the same thing on the left side. So you have to have about a 120-degree scan to keep all the engine gauges in view. Pretty simple, just throttles, no prop controls. The mixtures are here, 3 magnetos, master switch, generator switch, and the carburetor heat is these 3 levers down here that pull up like that. There's only elevator trim in the airplane, and that's this big knob right here. And there's no rudder trim, so when you lose an outboard engine, one of your legs is going to get a big workout. Fuel levers for each tank. There's 3 tanks. So the main tank, 125 gallons each, and the center tank is 103, which is considered an aux tank. We normally just operate on the outboard fuel tanks. It's a real simple fuel system. All 3 tanks drain into a common feed line, and the engines drain off the engines are supplied from that common manifold. So you can isolate tanks from the common feed line to balance fuel if you need to. There's an escape hatch up here, which if you pull this handle, it unlocks a number of pins all around the cockpit. This whole ceiling comes off as a lid. And one of the things that you have to watch out for is when passengers are coming up in their co-pilot seat, you direct them to pull on this. And I've had one person reach up and start pulling on that, which would have hurt this passenger. But so it unlocks all these little pins all the way around. The steering wheel came off a Ford automotive assembly line. These are not the original wheels, they're recreations, but this is about how it was originally outfitted. And we travel with a GPS, and that's our only source of navigation. There's no VORs or anything else in the airplane. And we've stopped putting gyro instruments in the airplane, or attitude indicators, directional gyros, because the vibration from the center engine just kills the gyros. They last about 30 days, and then they're laying on their side. Noise-canceling headsets are definitely a requirement, and it's an in-flight emergency when the batteries go dead and you're talking to a control tower. so I'm always checking to make sure I got a green flashing light on my headset. That's actually how we fuel the airplane. We drop that ladder down, crawl up onto the top of the wings, and then we throw down a rope, attach the fuel hose to it, pull it up on top, and then we fuel from there. It could be considered an escape hatch, but it'd be difficult to get that ladder out of the way in an emergency.
Oh, that was what was the lavatory?
Yes.
Little porthole window.
This mechanism right here, you'll see that handle. That's a locking mechanism for a baggage compartment that's built into the wing. So what you do is, there's a pin that's holding that in place. So you pull that handle down, which unlocks the mechanism, secures this thing closed. You can kind of see the outline of the baggage compartment. And there's a nut right here that we put a pull on, and you just crank the whole baggage compartment down. It's hinged just above the struts there. And it holds about 200 pounds of baggage, and the limitation is trying to get 200 pounds cranked back up again. They could probably take more. The wing is 31 inches thick, so there's plenty of room up there for just about anything and stuff in it.
200 pounds? Wow.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah, the control wires are elevator and rudder on this side. Goes up through the wing, comes out the trailing edge, you can follow it all the way down to the elevator and rudder controls. Yeah, it's a non-steerable tail wheel. It's just free castering. So to taxi it on the ground, we use differential power in the outboard engine to start and stop turns, and then try to augment that with brakes. But to save the brakes, we try to do it mostly with engines. And the flying characteristics of this thing is kind of unique. It doesn't really have any bad habits, except that it's really heavy on the ailerons and pretty slow to respond to wind deflections and things. And it's got a huge amount of adverse aileron yaw, so rudder is your friend. In fact, when you start making turns, you find yourself leading with rudder and then adding aileron. And it's not just a gentle tap on the rudder, it's a solid, hard push. All of our landings are typically tail-low wheel landings. Three-pointing it, you're running the risk of, if you misjudge it, you could damage the whole structure back.
Is the chili just a little bit when it comes to the side? I'm gonna try that way I can just see what your chili's like.
Alrighty.
I'll do it that way.
How about a Mile High Club
You got it?
with a cup of chili?
Yeah, that's polling business jets. I knew the VP of that whole.
They figured out from the very beginning the projection for 737 minimum speed range of like 2.5 hours. With an average Because now I told you look back, the average speed length is about an hour and a half, and the average passenger was 2 people. Wow.
I need some more water as well. I have time for that.